Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to start with the phylum Platyhelminths, as you can see here, and then you can see here we have the topics, characters, and classification, and there is life history of Taenia solium also. Now this is a group of organisms which are called as the Platyhelminths, and these are the worms. So platy word stands for flat, and helminths for the worms. So these include the flat worms. Okay, and next you can say here we have parasitic worms present. So phylum Platyhelminths, so this is the term's meaning which I was just telling you, and these include, if you generally if you want to know, triploblastic organisms, and it means there are three germ layers. They are bilaterally symmetrical. So any you can say cut given to the body starting from the anterior half to the posterior half, you can say passing through the center, is that is called as a bilaterally symmetrical. So that symmetry is there. Dorsoventrally flattened. Dorsoventrally flattened is leaf like structure. Anything which is leaf like, na, that is called as a dorsoventrally flattened. And they are acoelomate. So coelom is absent. A means absent. Such are the organisms which we are going to study here, and they have organ system level of organization is there. What other species, what other characters are there, we'll just be doing. And this phylum includes 13,000 species. So the term platyhelminths was given by this scientist, name is Goggenbaur, in 1859. Now coming to the general features. Now before coming to the general characters, I would like to show you the picture of the animals which are included. So let me tell you, this is the Taenia solium, and then you have the, you can say, liver fluke also. Its picture is not there, but I'll show you later. So you can say the first one is the habitat. Now these, you can say, planarians are one of the classes which include, which are the turbellarians, which include the planarians. So there are three actually classes. So one is the turbellarians, then we have trematodes which include the flukes, and then there are cestodes which include the tapeworms. So these, you can say, these tapeworms, they are parasitic. Out of these three, these are the parasitic ones in their habitat, whereas planarians are free living flatworms. And you can say these trematodes and the cestodes both are parasitic. You can see the free living forms may be, so if they are free living, it means they might either will be living in the fresh water. So examples are given. So they are Dujacia planaria. Marine forms are the examples here, they are given. So these are few examples of the marine forms. Then some of them are terrestrial, which walk or which move on land. So this is bipalium. So and flukes. So liver, for example, flukes, which are the trematodes, they are either they are ectoparasites. Ectoparasitic means they live as a parasites on the bodies of other organisms. Example is Fasciola hepatica. And then you can see there are tapeworms which are endoparasitic, they live inside the bodies. So example is Taenia is one of the example. Echinococcus, which is the dog tapeworm, and there is Hymenolapis also. These are the most important ones, Echinococcus and the Taenia. Okay, so this was the first character. Now coming to the body size. Now regarding the body size, you can see they have moderate sized organisms, and but you can see there is a variation always. They can be microscopic to about 10 to 18 meters. So largest and most pathogenic tapeworms are also there. So this one, Diphyllobothrium, this is the largest tapeworm. Its length can be, you can see, 18 meters in length, so very long in size. Now coming to the next character is the body form. Body form, dorsoventrally flattened. So just imagine there is a leaf like structure. So as the leaves are flat, they are also having the exact similar flatness. It means this type of structure. So the body is either unsegmented and leaf like, example planarians and flukes, or in the case of let's say these Taenia solium, which is a tapeworm, the body is tape like. You can see the body is tape like. And I'll post you one PPT in which you can see all these organisms in their pictures, I mean to say. And for example, this one, the ribbon like organisms, which is the tapeworm, their body is composed up of proglottids. So their total number of proglottids are 850 to 1000 proglottids, for example in Taenia solium, and more than 4000 in Diphyllobothrium. And you can say in Echinococcus, which is the dog tapeworm, there are only 3 to 4 proglottids. Now coming to the next is organization. So these have, you can see, the first animals to have the organ system organization, and they are having blind sac plan. And regarding the symmetry, I have already told you bilaterally symmetrical am. And then the body cavity, they are acoelomates. As what is the body cavity? The space between the body organs and the you can say the external body and the internal, for example digestive system, that space is filled by mesodermal connective tissue, which is mesenchyme or parenchyma. And so thus the body cavity is, they don't have it, and we call them acoelomates. Okay, now coming to the cephalization. Now what is cephalization? You can see the formation, head formation. So the first animals to have the head, they are you can say these organisms, the flatworms. Now the anterior region, the head is present due to the aggregation of brain and sense organs on the anterior side. So this is the function of cephalization. If the head and the brain are located on the anterior side, because they are the first one to encounter the any you can say whatever organisms are coming, or they have to see what environment they are moving for. That is the reason the brain and the head is aggregated towards anterior side of the body. Next is the body wall. So what type of body wall these organisms have? So these, you can say, body wall is externally covered by single layer. On the outside there is cuboidal and ciliated epidermis. And I would like to show you. I'll find out and show you in some book. Here we start with the next point. We were doing body wall. So as I told you, in planarian, body cavity is covered by single layered cuboidal and ciliated epidermis. So it's almost this type of epidermis, cuboidal and cilia are present. And then you have the and that this also on their ventral side of the body. While in liver flukes, fluke like organisms, which are, and the cestodes, epidermis is absent, they don't have epidermis. And here the body is externally covered by cuticular layer, we call it integument. Sorry, it is the tegument. And the cuticle is produced into numerous spinules. So let's say that this is called as the tegument. We can call this layer as the tegument, and these are the tegument, and these are the spinules which are arising from there. And then you can say acute spinules that I have just given you. And this is, and then the musculature, and whereas in the flatworm, you can see the if you talk about the muscles, that there are the different type of muscles which are present are longitudinal, circular, and oblique muscles. So you can say these type of muscle fibers are present. So let's move further to the next point of our general characters. Now here you can say, let's move on to the skeleton. So our next point is skeleton. And what type of skeleton do these organisms have? You have seen tapeworm, na? So they are very soft bodied organisms. So you can say, because neither they have exoskeleton nor they have endoskeleton, so that's why they are very soft. And you can say their body, or the parenchyma, which is a almost filling type of structure present in the coelom, that acts like the hydraulic skeleton. And while the hooks and the spinules, which are present on the outside, they are composed up of scleroprotein. So they are the ones which are the forming a sort of skeleton, hydraulic skeleton, which is composed up of the, you can say, that parenchyma, which is packing the coelom. Whereas the hooks which are present on the outside, and there are spinules. They also form the part of the skeleton. Next are the adhesive structures. So these organisms have many adhesive structures. For example, the parasitic helminths, the example is the liver fluke, and then the tapeworms. They have adhesive, you can say, structures, because they have to attach themselves to some, you can say, body. Inside the body they have to attach themselves. So you can say, they have suckers. So some of them, for example, in diplozone there are only suckers present, whereas you can say fasciola has spinules present to attach itself to the body of another organism. Whereas you can say the other examples, I would say these Diphyllobothrium etc., they have the suckers. And in Trypanosoma also there are present four suckers. So it is almost, I'll just find out for you, but otherwise I'll just make a diagram for you. So this type of structure is the anterior side of its head, this type of structure. And here you can see those suckers, one is present in the center. So this type of sucker is there, and then we have the one sucker on this side. Here I'm not able to make a proper diagram actually. So, and one sucker is present on this side. And similarly, so this is the dorsal sucker. These are the two lateral suckers, whereas one is on the opposite side, which is going to be the ventral sucker. So there are four suckers, and here there are rows of hooks present here. So hooks are present here. So the main function of the hooks is to attach the organism to the substratum, because this animal is found inside the body of man. So these hooks help the organism to attach themselves to the, you can say, to the body wall. We will do this in detail because you have the life history of Taenia there, I'll tell you. Okay, so for now this much will be enough. Now coming to the gut. Now coming to the gut means the alimentary canal. Absent. It is absent in tapeworms, and you can say Taenia. While in the flatworms, some may have incomplete alimentary canal. Incomplete means there is no mouth is there, but there is no anus is not there. And the rest of the structures are present: mouth, pharynx, and then you can see this blind intestine is there. Mouth ventral in position, it means one is the dorsal side, the other is the ventral. So there in planaria it is ventral, fasciola it is anterior. Okay, and the pharynx, of different types is present. I think you can say, we'll just move to the next point only, because this is what they are trying to tell is a different type of, let's say, this pharynx present in the different organisms. For example, in fasciola it is highly diverticulated. Okay, now coming to the next point is the respiratory and circulatory systems. Now the respiratory system and circulatory system totally absent. Okay, so how the exchange of gases takes place is through you can see the general body surface. The you can say the respiration and circulation takes place, and either they are aerobic, it means they are staying in the absence of oxygen. Examples again, schistosoma is also a blood fluke only. Or you can say aerobic means in the presence of oxygen, anaerobic means in the absence of oxygen. So those organisms which live in the absence of oxygen is the fasciola. And thus we can say they have parenchymal circulation. This means parenchyma is circulating in their bodies, and is the food may be reaching the different parts or the oxygen through the parenchyma only. Next is the excretory system. Now coming to the excretory system, you can see these are the flame cells. So the excretory system takes place with the help of the flame cells. Another name is protonephridium, and you can say it is also called as a solenocyte. So there are the different names given to the flame cells. And you can say these protonephridia are present in the members except this order Acela, which example is convoluta, there they are absent. and these open through one or more excretory pores. So here you can see the opening is through one or more excretory pores, and the type of you can say excretory material is ammonia, and the you can say process is called as the ammonotelism. Organisms are called ammonotelic. Now coming to the nervous system, so this is the nervous system, you can see ladder like, it is called as a ladder like nervous system. This is the planarian shown on a flat form, but this is the planarian. So you can see the transverse commissures lateral nerves and the transverse commissures, and the brain having these two you can say cerebral ganglia in front, ladder like and formed up of brain and a pair of pair ganglia and two or more longitudinal, so these are one and two longitudinal nerve cords, maybe some have other more also, and they are these two nerve cords interconnected by transverse commissures. Okay, and next are the sense organs. So this is the structure of actually the flame cell, you can see, and the why it is called as a flame cell, because these cilia, because of the cilia are present towards inside. There are basal granules, there is a nucleus present, you can see the cytoplasmic processes, and you can say these are the small vacuoles, and here you can see the capillary duct is present. So this is the structure of the protonephridium. Now next is the sense organs. Now these you can say have primitive type of these they are primitive type of organisms, so they have statocysts are for balancing. Example is given here, eyes. In planaria there are eyes present. Otherwise these are reduced, or in the parasitic forms they don't need now, because they're living in as parasites inside the body of other organisms, so they don't need the sense organs, they are already in the protected environment, so there it is absent. Regarding the reproduction and development, they are bisexual. It means you can say bisexual or hermaphrodite, both the sexes together in the same organism. So, and monoecious except the members of acella is actually different. So there you can say the gonads are marked out as sex cells, and they are formed from the mesenchyma, whereas the you can say the reproductive systems are generally complex, having well developed reproductive organs, and there are gonoducts present, there are accessory organs present. Eggs have zygote and large number of yolk cells in the zygotes, and you can say there are vitelline glands present, and the egg are covered over by egg capsule, so we call them ectolacethal eggs. Cross fertilization occurs in trematoda, while cestoda has the self fertilization, and internal, the fertilization is internal, development is direct. In turbellaria means planaria, direct development, so no larval form will be there. Whereas you can say in liver flukes there are so many larval forms, you can see miracidium, sporocyst, radia, cercaria, metacercaria, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so and whereas in tinea there are two larvas, hexacanth and the cysticercus, and the life cycle is monogenetic, or it is you can say completed in one organism. Example is diplozone, or digenetic, completed in two organisms, fasciola and tinea, or it can be trigenetic also. This another example is opisthochus. Then parthenogenesis and polyembryony, this is found in fasciola. I'll tell you later what is the meaning of these terms, and it means they are found in the trematodes and tapeworms. We have to do it in detail there, I'll tell you the detailed meaning of these. Now next is the asexual reproduction, also takes place in these organisms by transverse fission. It means that the body divides transversely, and then each of the organism can give rise to new organism. Transverse fissions produced on the long chains, and the new individuals are formed. Example Deuteria and Planaria. Whereas some tapeworms, for example Echinococcus, they show budding, endogenous exogenous budding, buds are formed. So different type of you can say the asexual reproductions are there. Now next is the regeneration. Now coming to the regeneration, planarians have high power of you can say morpholactic regeneration. Each body segment can develop into a complete animal. Maybe that animal is of small size, but each segment of the body can form a new organism. Whereas planarians show polarity in regeneration, means there are polar regions when the regeneration is taking place. So these are the general characters, and then we have the unique characters. Regarding the unique characters, you can see first animals to have bilateral symmetry, triploblastic organ system organization. Body is either leaf-like or ribbon-like or unsegmented, dorsoventrally flattened. Then you can see mesodermal connective tissue parenchyma present. Body phylum, they are acoelomates. Then excretion by flame cells or protonephridia. Ladder like nervous system is present in them. Gut is incomplete or either absent. Yolk producing vitelline glands are present. And if you want to just, because let me just complete this lecture by classification. The classification is very simple actually. It means there are only three classes you can see, and the classification is based upon these characters. Okay, here you can see the first class is Turbellaria, second is Trematoda, third is Cestoda. Regarding the habitat, now these are non-parasitic, they are ecto or endoparasites, they are endoparasites. Whereas in the body form, these are unsegmented and flat leaf-like organisms. Unsegmented, they are also flat leaf-like, they are segmented and flat ribbon-like. Body wall, they are composed of syncytial epidermis, and they have rod shaped rhabditis. So this is just learn this term then. And the epidermis is ciliated partly. Tegument, here the tegument is there, the outer layer with cuticular spines I showed you. Tegument has, here the tegument is with microvilli, which are hair like processes to increase the surface area for absorption. And the position of the mouth, here the mouth is absent, or it can be ventral anterior mouth. Mouth and gut absent, they don't need, because they just take the direct food from the parasite they are in. Sense organs, statocysts and eyes are there. Here the sense organs in free living larval forms, example ocelli in Myriacetia. Altogether there are no sense organs present in Cestoda. Whereas the development, here direct development, here one or more larval forms are there. And you can say, because here more than two larval forms are there, I just gave you the names of Fisciola's larval forms. These includes one or more larval forms. Examples I already gave you. So tape form included here, fasciola and schistosoma, all these paragonimus and this diplozoan. Whereas in the turbellaria we have planaria, dujacia and convoluta. So that's all for today, and I would also post you you can say this PPT where you can see the pictures of these organisms. I was not able to show you because I didn't get those you can say pictures of these organisms. So I'll post you a PPT. Please see that PPT after seeing this lecture, because we cannot leave book material is required, then you can go for other things. Okay, thank you so much.